Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive shift that's shaking up the world of software development. And I'm not talking about something that's years away. This is happening right now, as we speak. So let's kick things off with this quote, because it's a powerful one from a developer who's right in the thick of it. And it really sets the stage, right? This isn't just about some new tool or a passing fad. We're talking about a genuine fork in the road for an entire career. And you've got to understand, this goes way deeper than just how we write code. It's a complete reinvention of the developer's role, their identity. Really, it's about what it even means to be a developer in this new era. So you might be wondering, how are developers on the front lines actually dealing with this? I mean, are they scared? Are they excited? Well, it's not that simple. It's not just blind optimism, and it's definitely not pure fear. It's something way more interesting. The ones who are really succeeding have adopted this mindset. They're being called realistic optimists. And what does that mean? Well, they're not burying their heads in the sand. They see the disruption, they see the challenges, but instead of panicking, they're framing it as this incredible opportunity for growth, a chance to completely level up. Okay, but that evolution, it doesn't just happen with the flip of a switch. The folks who are making this transition work, they're all going through a pretty predictable journey. It's an evolution that seems to happen in 4 distinct stages. It's a path that takes you from, being pretty skeptical all the way to forming a real strategic partnership with AI. So as we walk through these stages, I want you to think about it. Where do you fall on this map right now? So stage 1, almost everyone starts here as the AI skeptic. You know the feeling, right? You're kind of dabbling with it, maybe using some basic code completions, but honestly, it feels a little gimmicky. You're expecting this magic bullet, but what you get is, well, quirky. And that clash between expectation and reality, it makes it so easy to just get frustrated and say, forget it, this isn't for me. But for those who stick with it, you enter stage 2, the AI Explorer. And this is where the real shift happens. It's all in your head. You stop expecting perfection. You start to get a feel for the tool's limitations. You realize, okay, this is a conversation, it's a back and forth, and you start learning the real art of prompting, basically by messing up a bunch and trying again. Now we're at stage 3, the AI Collaborator. And this is where things get really interesting. You're not just asking for little code snippets anymore. No, you're actively co-creating with it on bigger tasks. You start to develop this intuition for what they call context engineering, which is just a fancy way of saying you get really good at giving the AI the right info so it gives you the right output. And then you start sharing your tricks with your team. The AI is basically your new pair programmer. And that brings us to the final stage, the AI Strategist. This is the top tier. At this point, you're not just collaborating, you're orchestrating. You're building these elaborate workflows with multiple AI agents. Think of it like having a whole team of specialized AIs working together on a single problem. You're delegating huge pieces of work. And this is the point where developers say they feel incredibly confident and really optimistic about the future. So after going through that whole journey, the job itself has fundamentally changed. It's like you've gone from being a musician who has to play every single instrument to being the conductor of a whole orchestra. And here's the absolute key takeaway. Your day-to-day work, it's no longer about grinding out code line by line. Instead, your main job becomes 2 things: delegating the actual coding to AI agents, and then, and this is critical, verifying that what they built actually works. So let's break that down. First, delegation. What does that actually mean? Look, this is a whole skill in and of itself. We're not talking about just typing a one-line prompt. It's about becoming a master communicator with your AI partner. You have to set it up for success, right? That means giving it rich context, super clear instructions, and a very specific goal before it even starts coding. Then there's the second pillar, verification. And this is just as important, maybe even more so. This is not a passive code review where you just glance at it. No way. This is about using your deep expertise to rigorously test, validate, and frankly, try to break what the AI built. You have to make sure it hits every single quality, security, and performance standard. You are the final line of defense, the ultimate gatekeeper. So when you think about the job in terms of delegation and verification, it totally reframes that big, scary question, right? What happens when AI can write 90% of the code? Well, when you ask the developers who are already living in this new reality, their answer might surprise you. Just look at these numbers. They think this future is coming at us like a freight train. Half of them say within just 2 years. But here's the thing, they don't see it as a doomsday scenario. For them, it's not an extinction event, it's an evolution. Their value isn't disappearing, it's just shifting from writing the code to architecting and validating the systems. Okay, so if that's the new job description, what skills do you actually need? Like, what should be in your toolkit to really thrive in this new world? All right, here's the new toolkit. And the most important thing to see here is that we're not just throwing all the old skills out the window. Of course, you need new stuff like AI fluency and delegation, but just look at that foundation. Your core programming fundamentals, your ability to think about architecture and systems. They're more critical than ever because that's what powers the verification part of your new job. I love this next quote because it really captures that realistic optimism we talked about. For a lot of developers, this isn't about just surviving. They see it as an AI reset. It's this once-in-a-generation chance to kind of level the playing field, build new skills, and redefine what excellence even looks like for them. In this whole transformation, it's not just about individual developers changing their day jobs. It's much, much bigger than that. This shift is so profound that it's forcing us to completely rethink how we even teach computer science from the ground up. You can see the shift right here. We're moving away from teaching tactical skills and towards strategic ones. So instead of memorizing syntax, you need to be able to understand a super complex system that an AI just built for you. Instead of just solving a coding problem, you need to know how to frame that problem perfectly so the AI can solve it. It's a huge change. And this right here, this is why there's so much room for that realistic optimism. The data is pretty clear. The demand for developers isn't going down. It's actually exploding. I mean, look at that growth. But, and this is a big but, they're not going to be the same jobs. The role itself is expanding. It's evolving into something new. Which brings us to what might be the single most important mindset shift in all of this. The developers who are absolutely crushing it with AI, they're not using it as an excuse to work less. Not at all. They're using it to be more ambitious, to tackle bigger problems, and to dramatically expand the scope of what one person or one team can actually build. So, this all leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought. Maybe the job title of the future isn't software engineer anymore. As your value shifts from just producing the code to enabling, verifying, and setting the entire creative vision, maybe the question isn't can you code, but are you ready to be the conductor?